Hey everybody, this is Chris McKee with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com, and we're here to show you a new guitar from Fender Guitars. And this is actually not necessarily a new guitar, it's more of a reintroduction of a guitar. And this is the new Offset Series Fender Mustang. Now, the Fender Mustang is not new to the Fender lineup at all. It's actually been in production since about 1964. Off and on to about 82. They stopped production. They reintroduced it when popularity increased. And this past year, they discontinued most of their Mustang models. And they did so in order to introduce this at a lower price point with some new features to it. So let's get to the guitar. This is part of their Offset series. It includes Mustangs and Duosonics with some different pickup configurations. This is the base Mustang model, or the I don't want to say generic, the standard Mustang model. There's also a Mustang model we'll be looking at with P90 pickups in it. This one features two single coil pickups with a three-way toggle switch, a single volume, and a single tone. They've got rid of all of the different switching options that most often weren't used and kind of got in the way for a lot of players. They've also gone to a string through body design, so you've got kind of a Strat hard tail style bridge string through, just like you'd see on a hardtail Strat or a Telecaster. Like any normal Mustang, it's a 24-inch scale, and it has a more modern 9.5-inch radius on the maple fretboard. So let's talk a little bit about that, because that's one of the things that has set these guitars apart from most of the Fender lineup. Scale, if you're not familiar with it, is basically the measurement from the fulcrum point on the saddle all the way up to the string nut up here. This length right here is the scale length of the guitar, and what that determines is the placement of all of the frets, the intonation, of course, of the guitar, where they're going to put the pickups, basically everything about where the electric guitar is going to be constructed based upon that scale length. Now, scale lengths vary. If you look at a standard Fender Stratocaster, Telecaster, the scale length on those is 25.5 inches. Always has been. If you look at something like a Gibson Les Paul, it's about 24 and around 3/4. PRS guitars always try to kind of compromise with a 25-inch scale. Lately, they've done different models, like their single cut's 24.5. They have one that's kind of between 24.5 and 24 3/4. And so by moving the scale, you're changing the feel of the strings and kind of the sound of the guitar, because where the pickups are placed is going to determine that frequency that you get on the guitar and the overall tone that you get. On these Mustangs, having that shorter scale, it basically benefits your hand feel. So it's going to impact the tone of the guitar that you get through these single coil pickups, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a second, and the feel of the guitar. With a shorter scale length, it's a bit slinkier. You get a bit more bend and a lighter feel. So to put it kind of in context, if you use a light gauge string, maybe like a 9-42, 9-42 on a 25-inch scale is going to feel tighter than 9-42 on a 24-inch scale. 10-46 is going to feel tighter on a 25.5-inch scale than it is on a 24-inch scale. So if, say, 10s feel tight on a Strat, put 10s on this, and they're going to feel like 9s, roughly. Back to the pickups. So these are our Mustang single coil pickups. They're similar in design to Stratocaster pickups, but they're a little different. There's no staggered magnets here. The magnets used are a little different. They're an Alnico magnet, but they are leveled with the top of the coil and capped. And so they've got a bit of a different tone to them. And you know, while being in similar design, sound different than Strat pickups. With the three-way toggle switch, it's real simple. You've got neck, both, and one's reverse wound from the other, so when you do a middle position, there's no hum, so it's hum canceling, and then bridge, of course. Single volume, single tone. All in all, it's really a fantastic guitar. Now, the Mustang started life as a student model. It actually replaced the Duosonic back in '64 for Fender, and that's part of the reason why it has a shortened scale. It was kind of geared towards kids. What happened, though, is that back kind of in the 80s, a bunch of musicians got their hands on these because they weren't very expensive, and they became a bit of part of rock lore. So there's a lot of famous musicians that have used these. Probably most famously would be the frontman for Nirvana. So if you've seen one of these before, it'd be because Kurt Cobain made it famous. In fact, Fender had a signature model for quite some time from Kurt. Now these are a little bit different than what they've done in the past because the switching's gone, it's been simplified, and these are being made in their Mexico factory now. So you can expect a price of about $499 when these hit market. They are just now coming out after being shown at the Summer NAMM show earlier this year, and we have them in store this week for you. So if you have any questions on these, feel free to come in and check them out. Give us a call, shoot us an email, or even comment on the video. Now let's listen to the sweet tones this makes. We're going to go one pickup at a time, and we're playing through a Fender Bass Breaker 007 head and cab. We're going to start with the volume low so you can hear it clean. We're not going to mess with the amp, we're just going to bring up the volume to kind of dirty it up a little bit so you can hear the dynamic range that the pickups have. Let's check it out. So that's a few of the sounds that you'll get through the new Mustang. If you want to check one out, I encourage you to come in the store, plug it into an amp, put it through its paces. They have a great feel, and they're a really good value and a really cool design. This Offset series is really becoming a popular series. It joins its cousins in the Fender lineup of the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster, and I think they're going to be really, really popular. So give us a call and come in and check them out. Thanks for watching.